Okay, folks, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Well, we've got a mess on our hands, meaning we've got all kinds of stuff here on our working area, and we were working on something, and then you got sidetracked and wanted to a different direction. We're working on our bunker, and before we finished that, we decided to work on this just to try to redo the walls, and we got some German half tracks out here, the packs that just still haven't been sealed. Started working on the, which actually looks a lot better than last time where I left it at. Pigsty, you know, pigsty and the steps here for the pigsty. I actually like the way that that color has been turning out. Looks similar to the farmhouse that I have for Normandy. So we're gonna set that off to the side. Little universal carrier or Maxim, not Maxim, Vickers gun carrier, Vickers gun Maxim, yeah, same kind of thing. It's a water cooled thing. They look similar. So this thing is sealed. It's not sealed, but it's gotten a wash to it. This Sherman also has a wash to it. I wanted to try out some ideas on the airbrush last night, and it went pretty well. So I got sidetracked and did these vehicles, the Grilla, and which is a German self-propelled gun with 150 millimeter. And I think I only got one spot on here where I got the, which you cover that up anyways with the dry brush over it. But I think that was the only one of these three vehicles that actually had that happen. Nope, here as well on the wheels. But that's it. The rest of these two came out great. Couple Panzer 3Ls die cast from Altaia, and decided to make one of them in the 1942 scheme of the experimental camouflage. These both have had a wash, an Agrax Earthshade equivalent wash, which is called Strong Tone. And as soon as I get all this stuff going, my 3D printing order finally came in. So that's what we're going to work on today, is we're going to assemble the 3D printing stuff, or we're going to attempt to assemble the 3D printing stuff. So we're going to clear the table and bring something out that we've never brought out before for this purpose. I don't know, I may have brought it out before, but let's pull all these brushes out of the way. Let's make some space here. Let's make some space so we got some stuff to work on that involves the next scenario. The next scenario that I'm going to run involves some of these things. I think they are. Let's get this shit out of the way. Move this over here. And my coffee's ready, so we're going to go grab that. Oh, no, we're going to need tweezers here. For sure. Let's go grab that. Couple mandatory ice cubes. And we've got that. All right, so we've got, if you haven't watched the video that I just put up, of course, I just put it up. Why would you have already watched it? But I did several items here. The item that I've never done before is this. We're gonna pull the cutting mat out. Oh my God, you're gonna cut on the cutting mat? Yes, on an easy one, but I'm not gonna paint on it. That's I wouldn't be able to live with myself with that. So I did an unboxing video of these items that I got today from in the mail from Miniature Tanks Company, and we're going to assemble them. And these are almost all American things. These are items that I don't have from another manufacturer, so I did that on purpose. I didn't want to maybe I got something, I didn't like how it turned out. Well, I didn't want to have one that I liked how it looked and one that I didn't. And I tried not to get these things mixed up, but I see that I still got them mixed up. And we went ahead and took our contacts. We want to take a really good look at these items and make sure that what kind of fit and finish they have on them. This one's super fiddly, so we're going to do it last. So we have a couple of Jeeps. We have an M18 half track. What calling it a half track? An M18 tank destroyer. M18 tank destroyer, Hellcat, and an M15, not an M16, M15, and an aircraft half track, gun motor carriage, M15A1 gun motor carriage. That's this one with all the little pieces. And two Jeeps, one with the visor down and one with a visor up. And of course, my favorite is the shanty, the guard shanty here that the Germans are going to man, and they're going to ask for your papers. And if you don't show up, they're going to blow you away. Now, as I mentioned in the video, there's instructions on Miniature Tanks Company. They have a YouTube page, a YouTube channel that almost all of their stuff is listed on there, how to put it together. Some things are more complicated than others. The guard shanty's not there, even though it says it's on there. But we're going to test fit everything before we put it together. And I've got my contacts out to see what kind of a pattern there is. And it looks like all is well. It actually looks pretty good. I don't see much of a pattern. I think it'll probably paint just fine. So we're going to assemble these things. Maybe we'll leave this one for last. We gotta see how this one goes together. But there's no video for the shanty. So this is going to be, I looked at pictures of it, it's going to be candy striped. Actually, it's black, white, and red. And it might even put a flagpole next to it with, you know, a flag of the Crooked Spider, you know. Can't show that one. It's got to be removable. Can't show that one on video. We get into trouble with all the, with the bots, but that's where they would have it. Okay, so we need an X-Acto knife that we got rid of. We moved it over here because we did our unboxing video on this table. And we're going to need our clippers. We're going to use the good clippers for this because we shouldn't dull them out. I mean, it is a form of plastic. I don't think I can use the weld cement on this, unfortunately. That would be awesome if I could, but I don't believe I can. And we're going to start off with a Hellcat because the Hellcat has the most big pieces and should be easy to put together. Now, I watched the video at lunchtime. It's kind of child's play on something like this. But here we are. And the finish, I can't believe this is a solid piece. This is a whole solid piece of 3D filament, whatever. And it does have some lines in it. It's funny, you can see them, but man, they're really fine, but still you can see them. So we're going to attempt to take some of that off and see if it's even worth our trouble. Because that was the only thing that was keeping me from ordering these guys, was that you could tell there was lines on there. So let's put our glasses back on so we can find ourselves. And let's go into the drawer that has, I'm going to go ahead and pull the super glue out. One of these is newer than the other one. Well, we'll pull them both out. We're going to pull out the sandpaper, of which I have some really fine varieties. And we're going to cut a piece of that and try to mess with that. This one is too thick. That one is too abrasive. So between these three, we should be able, one of those should work. And what else? I guess that's what we'll go with. God, I hate cutting on this thing, but this was very inexpensive. So this one seems kind of abrasive. This one's like nothing going on this one. Let's start with this one right here. I'm going to cut off a little piece. And let's see if this is worth our while. Oh no, I cut into it. Hope I can sleep tonight. If not, I know what it was. All right, so we're going to go across this. Now, the other alternative is yeah, it's weird. It's like it's there, but it's hardly there. I wish these folks, and there is going to be equipment and stuff on it, but man, it's not going to be over every single spot of this. And if it was an option to get this to print in resin, I would have taken it. Well, assuming the price was affordable. You know, there's two things for 3D printed prices I've seen. There's places that aren't affordable, and there's places that are affordable, but then the shipping rapes you. You know, and that's a couple places in England. I can't justify $25 shipping. I'd have to order like, I don't know, $250 worth of stuff. And I'm like, why would I order $250 worth of stuff on somebody's initial order? I don't know what I'm going to get. Unless I'm wrong, I believe this actually doubles as wet dry sandpaper. So we're going to try a couple different methods here, and then we'll decide what we think is the best. And the best thing may actually be to leave it alone. But we got to make an attempt first. Now, let's say I wanted to use one that's a little bit more aggressive. The one that I thought was too much. Let's find out exactly what happens here. I don't know that I'm getting anywhere. I don't know that it's worth my while at this point. It's not looking like that's the case. Especially because this is the stuff that's really easy to get to. On this flat surface, when you start getting to this engine deck, there's all kinds of stuff up there. And if this is so difficult to get a hold of and try to sand down, this is going to be a nightmare. So I think at this point, I'm probably going to call this a day and say, let's just build it. because I'm just like not getting anywhere. I was hoping to like, smooth the side of this turret and stuff. This stuff is pretty resilient, which I guess is means it's durable. So let's just assemble this thing, and if we don't like how it looks, well, we just won't get more. Or we'll like plead, hey, I really like your products, but can you make them out of resin? You don't have a resin printer. All right, let's clip this out. It's a couple pieces to clip out of here. That and this piece here. And this little piece here. Okay, now I'm not sure. I imagine that's probably the hook there on the back. I'd have to watch the YouTube video then, wouldn't I? Well, I can't really watch the YouTube video when I'm here with you guys, so you'll just have to wait. But it's really pretty robust. Really pretty robust. Now, this one, but I don't have a whole lot of options on a Hellcat. I can try to get a Plastic Soldier Company one. They're impossible. Not a Plastic Soldier Company. Armor Fast. But they have no interior. This has more. The detail it has is actually pretty decent. I just wish it didn't have some of these lines in it. But it's really inexpensive. I mean, it was like $5. That's pretty cheap. I don't have this on the right chat, do I? Nope. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty durable. It's I don't know how sharp this one is. And I made some names today because I'm probably going to paint. I know we got Hoffman over there that we need to paint, but I'm probably going to do a dive and do some Americans. As we picked up we made some names for some of the Italians, some of the Irish, and some of the people in between. We already have some people in between, but I got a Kowalski. It's my favorite one of the penguins, Kowalski. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to get in more. Let's not throw this piece away. I'm not sure where it goes yet. I'll have to watch the video. Now, let's test this with... I hope this looks fine painted because I'd love to give these guys more business. They got some really cool stuff that nobody else makes. And like I said, it's fortunate to have a place here in the United States that does this. Just for shipping purposes. And as much as I'd like to try one of those X-size miniatures, It's spelled excise. I think their faces and the dimensions of the vehicles are a little compressed, a little Warhammer 40K ish, if you will. Yeah, this is really durable. I mean, yeah, it'll break, but man, you got to go out of your way to break it, or fall in a weird fashion or something. Let's see if we can't. Nope, not at the angle. We can't. Yeah, this stuff is definitely harder than plastic, and it has some flex in it, unlike resin. This resin will, it's just brutal. As soon as it cracks a little bit, it's broken in half. Okay, that's as close as we're going to get, and then we'll sand the rest of the way. I wanted to get an M10 as well, but it's a pre-built one, which means it ran about $12. So I said, we'll test this with the cheaper things before I spend $12 on something that I don't like the finish of it on. And I don't know that I'm going to find that out until I actually go and paint this thing. So let's cut us out a longer one. What's up, Mike? And I just don't know. I just don't know if I'm going to be happy with what this looks like. But I figured it was a low risk, and we're going to drill out the barrel of that for sure. But we need to get most of this stuff to disappear. I think we'll be able to do the barrel. Because if I got into 3D printing, I'd definitely get one of those resin things. I just don't want the headache. I don't want the headache of it didn't turn out right. I don't want the headache of getting this idea that it's going to go great, come home to paint it, and then it, somehow in the middle of the day, it decided to start printing wrong, and I get home and get disappointed. I don't like disappointments at home. I don't get paid for that. I don't really want my hobby to be anything negative. Nothing negative in the hobby. Yeah, the turret actually is, it's got some nice detail in it, you know? It's got some nice detail in it. The 76 millimeter gun, I don't know if you can tell by this, but the breech is on sideways, like at a 45-degree angle. I think they probably did that from, I don't know what the reasoning is. I think loading from the wrong side or something like that. I want to say I read about that. But fastest tracked vehicle in World War II. Supposedly, and the reason I say that is because the BTs were really, really fast. But they certainly weren't reliable. The BTs weren't reliable tanks. But they were fast as shit. I mean, they could run on the wheels also. And everybody thinks that this is on a Chafee hull, and including me. I thought the hull of this was on a Chafee. It's not. It's on its own hull. Let's get our book. I'm sure we have a book on this thing. U.S. tank destroyers in action. Okay. Do I have one on? I may have one on the Hellcat. Walk around on the Sherman. Nope. Stuart, nope. Armored cars, nope. Self-propelled guns, Sherman in action. No, I picked couple of these books, these squadron signal books from my buddy at the last convention, so I wasn't really conscious of not much of what he had. But here we go. Here's the Hellcat right there. I'm pretty sure the sprockets are on the front. They are. It's the British and the. I think it's definitely the British that had them at least the Crusaders had them in the opposite place. And most of the pictures you see of the Hellcat, they actually have like these little mini sand shields up here at the front. This one doesn't have it. It looks like this, which actually makes the vehicle a lot better looking. I don't think the vehicle looks very good with those little sand things there. And it does not come with a 50 caliber. It doesn't come with a 50 millimeter gun. No, it comes with a 76 millimeter gun. It doesn't come with a 50 cal. But we're going to use a piece of tubing, I think, if I can find it, and drop it right in here so that we can switch the Plastic Soldier Company 50 caliber in and out. That's a bad place for that. But I did some airbrushing yesterday. I felt like I turned a corner on it. I don't know if turn a corner is probably the right. I got significantly better in one. I got significantly happier with my results in this session, in yesterday's session. Do we even have the right gun, the right barrel on it? I'll be damned if we do. Okay, there we go. They already give me a divot. Let's just divot it out a little bit more. Am I happy with that? I'm not sure. Yeah, the problem with the priming is it doesn't cover any detail. So if it looks all messed up like this, you're going to see it. It's not going to cure any of that stuff. Let's go once around, all the way around it. And I may decide, I don't want to do my M10s this way. I may decide to say, I'm going to go ahead and get my M10s from UM. And they're really expensive. I mean, like almost $30 a piece. And a shitload of pieces, which I don't mind putting them together. Hey, Hoffman, what's happening? Well, you're hanging out over here. Where's your Hoffman figure? The next German I paint will be you. How about that? I just don't know when I'm going to get around to you. But you're here. Yeah, I did some tanks last night. And they have a brown wash. So we got a 1942 fall blau tank with the early camouflage that they did. Then we did a standard 3-tone Panzer III like for Kursk. And then we have this Grilla here, which we still need to install the gun on it. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. You want to see these 3D printed? Oh, I'm say so. It says so in the title. Well, did I get any 3D printed tanks? No, I actually didn't get any 3D printed tanks. Who the hell is texting me shit? Yeah, we need to take the vibrator off. I actually didn't get any. I didn't get any 3D painted tanks. This is a self-propelled gun. The other one is an AA vehicle, a guard shanty, and 2 jeeps. But I didn't name the company. That's what they're called, Miniature Tanks Company. Except I didn't get any tanks. So we'll see if we can use our magic to make this look not. Here's the thing. I look at it and I see all the little lines. I feel it and I don't feel them. I mean, they're really small, but they're there. And I really don't want to spend the rest of my life doing this. This is just kind of a test order. And if I don't like how they turn out, I just won't order from them again until they make them in resin. Now there's a couple little loops here they put on there, so that part's okay. All right, so the sprockets go forward. All right, so this is the sprocket that goes here. And then this one goes on the other one. Man, I really hate using super glue. Yeah, the lines aren't too bad, but they're like visible. All right, let's put these little pieces on there. I mean, this was like $5. That's why I got it. And let's make sure these other ones line up in the center of the wheel and here as well. That's the thing with super glue is it doesn't attach, it doesn't attach, it doesn't attach. Oh shit, it attached! I much prefer the weld cement. Yeah, that's why I got them. $5 isn't bad. The guard shanty. This guard shanty was less than $3 with the little bar. This is what's going to feature in the next movie. In the next movie, yeah, it is going to be a movie. So we're going to have a couple of German guards, and somebody's going to show up, and they're not going to have the right papers, so they're going to fucking floor it, and they're going to go by, and there's going to be some rifle fire. So we'll get to see what rifle fire does against a soft vehicle. Just finished watching the unboxing. All right, man. It took a long time to upload that video on YouTube. A really long time. I mean, it's a short video. That normally would have taken 4 minutes to upload it, and it took like a half hour. So I must have picked the wrong time to upload the video. Well, I can only do it when the stuff comes in, and that's when it came in, and I don't feel like keeping any of this stuff to myself. Something comes in that's interesting to you guys, I put the video up. That's how I roll. Yeah, This stuff is really durable. Really, really durable. So much that I'm having a hard time scraping any of these lines off. So let's just consider that a positive. Let's consider that a positive and just move on. And if it looks too Minecrafty, then we just won't get any more from them. I mean, or wait until these guys come out with, resin. I'm probably going to write to them, hey, listen, I got some of this stuff. Here's my video. You guys going to plan on making resin? But this thing's got a bit of flex in it. We're not going to test it like, how long is it going to take to break it, but. All right, now this big old slab, I mean, this is one chunk. If it's hollow, it certainly doesn't look like it's hollow. This is one chunk. That's going to meet at the front, and that's going to meet at the back. Let's make sure this isn't sticking out just a wee tad. Nothing is as good, in my opinion, as the plastic of armor fast vehicles. It's like, it cuts really well. It's almost oily. As I did the conversion on those Panzer 4Ds, and it was so pleasant to do that. All right, so we're going to go all the way across here. We're going to go across the front, this little bit at the front, all the way on the sides and across the back. And no, I didn't wash this with soap and water. But it doesn't have these little sand skirts up here, and I like it. It looks a lot better without the sand skirts. Bad thing is, every time I think of a Hellcat, I think of that, whatever the third installment of that Saints and Soldiers or whatever the hell it was that I saw. And other than having a couple of World War II vehicles that are functioning, you had a Panzer III L or an M or whatever. And at least one Hellcat. I don't remember how many Hellcats it is they had. Other than being too clean, the storyline was just bunk. It was like trying to put modern stuff in a World War II thing. Okay, so this sits in the middle. Therefore, this cylinder needs to sit in the middle as well. See, this is where I wish it was weld cement, so I have some time to work on it. Instead of like, there's no guides on here to do how to do it. So since this is completely in the center and it's equal all the way around, I'm going to glue this all the way in the center, equal all the way around. You should do an unboxing video, man. Get yourself a YouTube channel. Any idiot can do it. I think I've proven that. By the way, your little icon, Hoffman, is that you or is that an icon of the person named Hoffman? Because you said you were named after, you found some guy's name cool, so you're like, the part of Hoffman will be now played by, whatever your name really is, which I don't need to know. I'm not that nosy. I'll call you whatever the hell. I'll call you whatever you want to be called unless you earn something else. It was always Fumbles. Okay, that's close enough to the center. If it's not the center, that's close enough to it. Okay. You know what? I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be all right. The problem is going to be the dry brushing. Dry brushing is going to make that stuff show up, so I need to be careful with how I handle the dry brushing. But if it didn't have the lines, it'd be spectacular. I mean, it's got really good. It's got really good detail. Really, no flash. Okay, we're going to go up the sides. Actually, I'm not going to go up the sides. Because if I go up the sides and there's any kind of overspill, it's hard to clean this up. I changed my mind. I'm going up the sides. Come on, I got my supervision on with no contacts in. If anybody can do this, I can do it. Precisely, I can do it. I can do it. Okay, and this goes across the top. Yeah, it's the guy Hoffman. It's a very old username, maybe 2012. Looks like some kind of surfer dude or whatever. Cha. So I made up some names. I made up some names today because I think I'm going to go on a tear making some Americans. Because I barely have a squad of them. I got more than a squad of Americans, but that's it. That's all I got. I got a ton of Germans. Well, I got more Germans than I have Americans, so. We had to make up some names here. I've thought about YouTube before. Recently bought a bunch of vintage dinosaur toys to kit bash into kaiju. I thought that'd be cool to film. Yeah, the scale it's a good looking vehicle. It's heavy, it's got some girth, some heft. Wrong word with the F in it. Wait, girth doesn't have an F in it. What do we got for the Americans here? Oh, that's not the Americans. Print up a bunch of American names. That's actually a lot of fun doing that. What do we got here? I got some Irish and Italians and people in between. So we'll figure these out as we go. I gotta have a McGillicuddy. So my Irish are McGillicuddy, O'Neill, Hanrahan, Flynn, Byrne, Brennan, Quinn, O'Reilly, Sullivan, Walsh, Murphy. Gotta have a Murphy. Some guy that things always go wrong with. Oh, it's Murphy's Law. A Kelly, McConnell, and a Maloney. My Italians are Russo, Arici, Esposito, De Luca, Bianchi, Rizzo, Ricci, Martino, D'Angelo, Nicoletti, Cressetti, Queso, Brugioni, and Tico. Double C, Tico. Gotta have, and then I've got the people that are in between. These are a mix of Spanish speakers. I was looking through a list of veterans, and there's a Maroon. I'm like, oh, what a Maroon! I gotta have a Maroon. Wexler, Tobin, Maroon. Got some Yiddish names in here. Rabinowitz. I gotta have a Rabinowitz. I don't know what he's going to be doing, but Rabinowitz, Kavanaugh, Fernandez, Dubois, Getz, Gottbaum, Gewaltney. I'm like, that's like a real name. GW. Like, I gotta have a Gewaltney. Hertzman, Sandusky, Schoenfeld. And for Rick, in case Rick is listening, I went through a list of like World War II names, and I actually came across a Dole. So I'm going to have a guy named Dole, and only Rick will know what this is. I'm going to have a guy named Dole. Doell. I saw that and I'm like, oh, I'm making one of those for Rick. And it's going to be an actual figure. It's not going to be, because there's going to be a crew in here, and they're going to have names, but there won't be a figure specifically for them. Okay, so we've got this thing to put into the top that goes from Chia to... Oh. There to there. Because you just don't want to grab American names. You want to be like American names were around in the 1940s and how they were spelled in the 1940s. Okay, and that's going to have a 50 in it, which I don't know where the hell my tubing is. Hopefully I didn't get rid of it. I had a bunch of like metal tubing. So I figured I'm going to glue a little piece of metal tubing that's the right diameter for the 50 cal for Plastic Soldier Company. And then it can sit there on that mount up there. But it doesn't look too bad. The judgment will be when it gets painted. And I think it's fine, other than dry brushing it with those steps on it might be a problem. But physically, it looks good. I mean, the wheels look good. So one thing about tank destroyers, I don't know if it's consistent across all of them, but one of the problems that they had is they did not have power, at least the M10s, didn't have power traverse on their turrets. So, their turrets turn a lot slower than a Sherman. So that could be an issue, Make sure you ambush and don't get ambushed. So here is the, and we've got one piece. I don't know what the hell it is. We'll look at the video later. I can't really watch the video while I'm making a video. I'm not that talented. Look, I mean, they're really durable. Really, really durable. Okay. Next. I gotta do the shanty. Because this has got to be painted for the next game. I guess Rick's not on her. That would have woken him up. Talking about Dole. Let's see if I can get away with doing this. Pull that out. I'm going to test this. Let's hope I didn't make a clinical error. I don't think it'll work on it. Otherwise, the guy would have used it. I can't imagine it working on this stuff and not using this. So let's use the weld cement. And make sure it doesn't weld. Well, it sure as hell changes colors, that's for sure. I don't know whether that's good or bad. No, it doesn't work. Okay. Just needed to check because that makes my life a hell of a lot easier. Okay, and there's detail inside this thing. You need to get 1/72nd scale, like little Fraulein pin-ups or something like that. You know, like that one vendor, Historicon, that has like these girls that are in the skimpy, I don't know about skimpy outfits, like almost look like black lace type biker outfits or whatever. And they've got, you know, all kinds of Nazi tanker paraphernalia on it. Like, you know, it's cool to be a Nazi gal. And yeah, get one of those and reduce it in size and put it in there. Nazi fuckers. There's '07. What's up, Francois? Speaking of Francois, that's probably who I'm going to run the gauntlet with, is a bunch of French resistance guys that the Germans come in, ask them for their papers. They're just going to run through the barrier and just, we'll get to see what rifle fire does to like a civilian vehicle in the game, and if it's represented accurately, if we think that's okay, or if it's just that doesn't seem right. Man, this is really durable. I'm impressed with the material. It's so durable, it's hard to cut. Okay, we got that down. Okay. More of the same. Well, we were gonna do a mud wrestling session, but the girls were busy. You go get a soda. Yeah, that'd be one way to get my subscribers from like 1907 to like 19,000 one night. I'm just guessing. All right. Rice pudding, Jello. Nah, Jello doesn't have good coverage. All right. Rice pudding. My mom makes that stuff. I don't care for it. All right. I can't wait to paint this. And I looked at pictures. I figured, oh, it's all red and white. Oh no, not the German ones. It's black, red, and white. You know, it's got all those Nazi colors. Yeah, I look at this and I'm like, if it has any kind of a pattern, well, the lines work for this because it's made of wood. If you've got a 3D printer you want to use, but all their lines show, just make sure you buy items from them that look like they're made of wood to begin with, and it'll be fine. This isn't even visible, but Now, we got these two openings in the side that are completely shut. So let's cut through the middle of them. Fudge. Their material is really durable. I'm gonna tell them too. Their material is really, really durable. Okay. Now that we got it split in two, now let's see if we can push this out of the way. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Where's my where's Shenka? Shenka is the guy that I have. This is the most guarding type position. That's why you give them names. You put a face on a name. Where is mein Shenka? Shenka and Holm. These guys are candidates for being at the guard post. All right, there's Holm. There's Shenka. Let's put the cover on this thing. I know they can't fit inside, even though it's close. Yeah, this is total guard position. A couple of guys with Mausers. Maybe I'll get a third guy with an MP40. And we're gonna set up a thing where a vehicle's got to go through that. It'll either be a Jeep or it'll be that French taxi full of partisans or something like that. And you got to get through. So we'll get to see what does a Mauser do firing at a civilian vehicle. How does that differ in MP40? And then one of them is going to be stupid enough to stand in the middle of it. And he's going to get run over, hopefully. We'll get to see, that's how you're going to do. It's going to be, we're going to see a Nazi run over. Hopefully. Well, all Germans weren't Nazis. Mine are. Mine are all dickheads. Every one of them. The old Panzerfaust Paulette in the game. There you go. Boy, you've looked into some options, haven't you? Panzer. This one turned out great. This one turned out. I'm afraid I'm going to enjoy this one too much. Well, I have a Panzer II F2. I have a Panzer IV F2 from Hasegawa that I haven't finished. So, But there's several units that went into Fall Blau, which is the push towards Stalingrad. There's more to it than that. The Panzer battalions, the Panzer regiments normally had two Panzer battalions in them. And for Fall Blau, there were many units that were motorized divisions that ended up getting a whole Panzer battalion, like Grossdeutschland, 3rd Panzer Grenadier Division. The Panzer Grenadier Division, that was the point where they started getting an intrinsic battalion of tanks, of panzers. The ones that were left in the north, and some of the ones in the central, went from 2 battalions to only 1. And some of the new panzer divisions had a panzer regiment with 3 battalions. That's why you sometimes see numbers that have 1,000 series tanks, because, basically, normally the number on the tank, if they're using the 3 serials, you've got the 100s, 200s, and 300s and 400s are usually the 1st battalion. The 2nd battalion has the 500s, 600s, 700s, and 800s. You start getting into 900s or 1000s or 1100s, or that is the 3rd battalion of the Panzer Regiment that was oomphed up to go towards Stalingrad. And then after that, all bets are off. But some of those that went to the south got this experimental yellow. Sometimes they use browns. And this isn't Dunkelgelb. It's a Dunkelgelb-ish. There's one unit like the 22nd Panzer Division. That was like the latest one that was reconstituted. I think it came out in like late 41, maybe early 42, and it went south. It was the last one that was equipped with Czech 38s. And lots of the Czech 38s are overall in this yellow color, which looks really weird to see a Czech 38 like yellow, because a Czech 38 in 1942 is like damn near worthless. If they encounter any T-34s, they just can't deal with them, But this looks pretty freaking good. It looks pretty freaking good. And of course we need to bring it up in color, but it's got a dark wash. I'm afraid I'm going to enjoy that a little too much. But Nazis had cool tanks, but too bad they were Nazis. Panzerfaust Paulette. Yeah, maybe she'll be in that vehicle. Maybe she'll fire the Panzerfaust at this thing. So we'll get to see what a Panzerfaust does to a building. Blow that to kingdom come if it goes off. The only Germans that weren't not Nazis were sent to the camps. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not the defenders of Europe. Freaking trolls on the internet. I hope they're trolls and people don't actually think that way. A little bit left to go. Really durable material. Really durable. Impressively so. Splinters. I don't know what that... Oh, yeah, splinters, that's what all will be left, yeah. Well, if it goes off. Wow, okay. That was easy. So I gotta be careful how I paint this. If I use my normal method, I'm going to make all those things pop, and I don't want them to pop. So I'm sure I can handle it. If not, I just won't buy those again, I'm sure if they're successful, they'll start experimenting with other materials. I'm just glad it came from the U.S. because the shipping doesn't, cost an arm and a leg. I can't afford. I don't want to afford $20 shipping for something. I'm not going to order, like the first time you order something from somebody, let me order $300 worth and see if it's worth it. No. So, And they do make stuff other people don't make. Like that M15. I don't know very many people that make the M15. All right. There's no flash on this thing, is there? Nope. Well, there's two sides. We're going to make this the front. Looks like we got to rebuild a little bit of something here. Some of these have an emblem of, I'm not allowed to tell you what it is. Actually, I don't know which one. Actually, this is the back, because that way you have a little bit of overhang on the front. So Hans doesn't get his, his pants wet. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to glue this down. Well, let's see. Do I want to glue this later and that way we can paint on the inside? I don't need to really get in there, so to speak. Let's just skip a step and glue it. Maroon, there we go. We got an American guy. It's going to be called you. There's actually there's some people in the 1940s that have a last name Maroon. So one of the Americans is going to be a Maroon. You want some decals, but I got to find a source that isn't costing me like $28 for shipping when the decals are like 10. That's a lot for shipping. Which decals are you looking for? Hopefully it's 1/72nd. I can help you with sources. If it's other scales, I'm not going to be much helpful because I haven't been surfing. So what scale are you looking for and for what? Maybe I can point you in the right direction. I got a minor in surfing the internet. That's going to be like this. I don't know if that's right, but that makes sense to me. You'd have a little overhang on the front. The most expensive thing I got shipping, in other words, the cost of the item versus shipping was 50-50. I got this book from Spain that ended up being a bust, and it was like a $50 book, and I paid $50 for shipping, so it was like $100 fucking dollars. And I thought it was going to have all the answers for me. And then you get it, and I'm like, this is terrible artwork. Oh, well. We all make bad decisions. Looking for 1/72. All right, here we go. I need some British markings from some Shermans along with aerial recognition stars. Well, there's lots of stuff that's affordable. If you're looking for specific, get a pen down. Okay, here's some manufacturers that may not be available on eBay that I've had good luck with. There's one company called Well, I haven't ordered from District Miniatures, but they're in the U.S., so their shipping isn't bad, and they do a lot of British stuff. They do a lot of American stuff too. District Miniatures, they're relatively new. There's a company called Aleran, Aleran. They have a bunch of stuff on there as well. Who else? I've ordered from Aleran. You can get those things pretty fast. It just depends what units you want. Like I was looking at like for certain units for the Churchills for the one scenario, and nobody makes those. I had a hard time finding them. Ooh, I don't like this. I don't like this somehow. Why are people allowed to put comments immediately on my post? And the problem is if you get somebody... Okay, that comment's okay. The problem is it's not for you usual people. It's somebody who come in and just start putting a bunch of hate stuff, and I got to do damage control. Okay. Why? Let me adjust this. Let me see what the freaking issue is here. Let's go to this. Let's make sure volume's on. That's going to be, it was on. Okay. And we're going to edit this. And public playlist and, oh, come on. Stupid freaking fat fingers. I I hate that. Fat fingers and being a spelling Nazi is not a good combination. Okay, we're going to edit this again. Visibility public. Okay, it's not there. So where? Okay, maybe here. Let me go home. I did that one time a long time ago, like let people post things, and this one guy just, I assume it's a guy, was just freaking dickhead and just filled all kinds of. It's only happened one time, but I learned quick. Let's see. Can I edit this? No. Well, hopefully there's. I'll have to wait until I get off of this thing to edit and make sure that. I basically approve all your guys' comments, but I don't want somebody starting a jihad on my channel. You know what I mean? But Alaran has them. Is there any particular units you were looking for the? Because that's the thing is that unit of service stuff, Alaran makes them and they're pretty affordable. They're like $5 a sheet. And in district, I think district stuff, I didn't know about district last time I ordered British stuff, but they're pretty cheap. So that's relatively easy to do. And then the armored divisional markings, it just depends which armored division or armored brigade you want to do. You know, there's some that are, you may have to paint yourself, and there's some that, you know, just depends what you're looking for. Okay, so that's done. Now, this is the barrier. And here is the halt sign. Let me go. There's no video of this thing, of this particular thing. So let me go to their site and see how it's assembled so I can assemble it. Because this is like the first thing I'm going to paint of their stuff. Miniature Tanks Company. Like I said, the only problem I see is the dry brushing may bring these little steps to life. So I may need to go to Plan Q. I don't know what that is. I'm sure we could figure it out. But you can't just scrape it off. The stuff is very resilient to being scraped. So let's go to, oh, this is new. Okay, I didn't, scenery and terrain. Oh, they make two different gatehouses? Well, I like the one that I got. Okay. All right, so there's two little posts. Okay, cool. And then this thing sits in the center, okay, of this bar. That this is extra material on the end. And this is, okay, so we know how to build this. So this is, we're going to snap this here at the end. And we're going to snap this here. And here. Oh, the alternative. Here's the other little, well, I want the little round thing. I think I want the little round thing. We're probably going to need to paint this on this. So we'll leave those two attached. Nothing too specific. I've looked at Alaran considering buying the stuff. Yeah, check out District Miniatures. They've got a lot of stuff out there. They're relatively new. I haven't bought from them because Alaran makes a lot of weird stuff though. So if you want like Belgian stuff, like you know those are in high demand. Belgian vehicle markings like but it just depends if you need to do British North Africa or British Northwest Europe or British Italy. Whatever you do, This is your word of warning. I've mentioned this before. Do not buy decals from Petting House. They're all over eBay. Peddinghaus. You think, oh, they're German, they'll be great. There's a reason why they lost the war. And it might have been Petting House decals. They're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. They're thick. They're all one decal sheet. So in other words, the whole sheet, they're not individual decals. You have to cut them out. And they're super thick. And they're all over eBay. All over them. And they're terrible. Microscale are great, but they don't make British. Microscale decals are actually really, really good. They're some of my favorite. Okay, so this is the little barrier thing, and it's going to sit out here in front like this and like this, and it's going to sit on top of one of these. It's going to sit like this. Boy, this is fiddly as fuck. Especially without tweezers and all the cough you have in me. Okay, that's going to sit like that. And then this little halt sign will be stuck in the middle somewhere. Okay, well this is going to go to the Spraylandia. Actually, this might be better off just hand painting it. Just hand painting the primer. Just primering it by hand. All right, I need a little container these things are going to go in, or I'm going to end up misplacing something. I'll find it eventually. This will work for now. I'm going to paint these. I'm going to paint that already on there. There's that. And what was the other thing that we had? That. Okay. Next, I've got a couple of Jeeps. Yes, we're leaving the M15 for last. This is the one with the erect mirror. And they don't have 50 calibers either. And that's okay. Not every Jeep had them. Okay, we got little wheels. I may actually need to watch the instructional video on this. Oh, I cut into the self-healing mat. I'm going to wake up with a headache. Got to go. See you this weekend, hopefully. Yep. I should be in. Okay, so this is going to attach like so. Let's remove this. So this is about as unpleasant as working with resin that I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of working with resin because I can't use weld cement. I also cannot use weld cement with this. However, this has some flex in it. Unlike resin, it has no flex. So it's easier to work with than resin. And I'm test fitting everything. So this should go like this, smooth with that, which means it's going to stick up a little bit. And then this will attach that's going to attach like that no matter what. That has to attach like that. And this is definitely the front. You know what? This might actually be the front to this. This could very well be the bumper. All right, I'm going to have to watch the video for that. You know what? We're going to... I'll watch the video. I'm just not going to put any sound on it. How about that? And that's pretty cool. They have an instructional video for everything, but they don't have a whole lot of views on them, which means let's bump up their views here. All right, we're looking for the Jeep. I watched it at lunchtime, but okay, here it is. Come on. Why is this running all slow and shit? No. All right. I mean, after I put one together, I'll be able to put the other one together. He's even using the same super glue I'm using. All right, what's this guy removing? Oh, this is just crap. Okay. I wouldn't have known that. Okay. Yeah, I would not have known that you need to remove this. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll remove this. And we'll remove this. And then we'll remove this. And then we'll remove this. And this is the part I don't like, because he just pries this apart. And that just seems wrong. I make sure to check out District Miniatures. I was hoping to find decal sources, but I was a bit lost. Yeah, it's... So one thing that throws me off about District Miniatures is if you go on their site, I'll show you what I mean. Let me go to their... Let me put this on my phone and I'll show you what it is. 'Cause it's a little elusive. I mean, they're a little smart for their own good, and I'll show you what it is. So let's go to their site. District Miniatures. I've not ordered from them. So if you order from them and they screw you, I'm sorry. I hope not. Most people don't, you know. So if you look at here under the shop, and it says 15 to 28 millimeter decals, and you go World War II 20 millimeter, right? And let's just, for argument's sake, say you want to look at German stuff, because, you know, and you looks like you only have one selection for the German 20 millimeter numbers, okay? But when you click on that, there's other options down here. I mean, look at all the options for the other numbers they are. So it looks like they only have one set, and you could look at them like, I don't want ones that are black with white outlines. Well, you could go on and you click on that, and there's blue ones with white outlines, there's yellow and blue. You just have to click on that thing, and then it shows you what the icon is. So I believe the other stuff is the same. So if we look at British, all right, here you go. World War II British divisions, 20 millimeter decals. You look at it and I'm like, I don't want 11th Armored. I want something different. So click on that. And I'm saying this because this happened to me. Okay, and you flip down here and you go, oh, well, they have more than 11th Armored. They have an 11th Armored variants. They have the 7th Armored, 3rd Infantry, 8th Armored Division, which is really the 8th Brigade. The 8th Armored Brigade, which is what I have. 56th Infantry, Irish Guards, 255th Indian Brigade, 50th Indian Tank Brigade, 254th Indian Tank Brigade. Oh my goodness, all my units are here. 7th Armored Brigade, the 1st Burma Corps, 8th Indian Infantry Division, Czechoslovakian Independent Armored Brigade. Oh, those are in high demand. Princess Irene Brigade. There's all kinds of Belgian stuff. 9th Armored Division, 23rd Armored. That's 23rd Armored Brigade. Yeah, there is. Yeah. So all those things are optional. It just looks, you got to click on that thing to see what it is. Just like bridge weights. I haven't ordered the bridge weights thing yet, but that one only has one of them on there. British, UK vehicle names. I've just gotten used to painting my own. So, as cool as these are, I want to name, I don't want to be limited by what's on here. So, anyhow, they have a lot of decals. I'm not really sure how they work, whether they apply well or what have you, but I wanted to point that out because it caught me off guard. The next decals I'll be ordering from somebody will be from them. And I hope they're great. All right, I need to take this off, and God help me, because it's on a curve. All right, now, can I pull this off yet? No. What is it? What is attaching it to? Let's see if we can pry this away now. Yes. Now this is going to be a challenge to remove on a curved surface, mainly because it's so hard. So I'm going to do some vertical cuts in here. I mean, this material is really durable. So, like I said, the only gripe I can say so far is that it's going to be a problem dry brushing it, because it's going to show all that stuff. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm crafty enough to figure it out. Maybe if I give it a coat, let's think outside the box for a second. What if I coat the entire thing in a layer of Elmer's? What if I paint Elmer's over the whole thing? Will that cover up the steps a little bit? Maybe. It's a shame because it looks really good. I mean, they fit together really well. They're durable as shit, mean, obviously, if you drop it on the ground, anybody's bet, what's going to happen to the barrel, but, reasonably. See if we can bend that out of the way. I'm sure we can get on with this. It's the opposite of the Fujimi Jeeps that are really, really finicky. I've got a Kubowagen that it's like, if you just like hold it wrong, it just falls apart. This thing's actually pretty damn durable. So. I'm just trying not to booger up the fender, the wheel well. Okay, well, I didn't booger it up. So the guy in the video looks like he really kind of butchered this. With a little bit of care, you don't have to butcher it. And I'm going to warn this thing. If something I glued comes apart the first time, it's going to get epoxied, because epoxy is my friend. I just decided to do it with super glue because that's what the guy in the video did, and I'm just going to take his word for it. But I'm not a huge super glue fan. All right, let's flip to the other side. That worked pretty well. A little time consuming, but if you don't take your time, you're going to F it up. Now, it's just up to you guys if you decide, man, this is taking a whole lot of effort to do that. It is taking a bit of effort to take this stuff off. But you don't have to glue the seats on, So far, so good, but let's go get a beverage. Well, I'd like to end this evening before I go to bed, even if it's not on camera, priming these things. So we'll be ready to go to start painting them tomorrow. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to be successful doing that or not, because this is taking a lot longer than I would have expected it to. Let's get this underneath and pry it up. Rick on here yet? You got to get going. Catch you later. All right, man. Thanks for stopping by. You know, this is a way to earn your patience merit badge. I already have several of them, so I don't really need another one. See, this thing, I cracked this little piece, not even wanting to. So, even though I wasn't holding it by the steering column, which seemed to be the most delicate part, there's other delicate parts on here. I'm having to put a lot of horsepower behind this, taking this off. All right. Can I get away with that? Yes, I think so. Yes, I think so as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to squeeze some super glue here. Let me grab my really thin applicator, also known as a needle. Where is it floating around these days? Up out here? Okay. I have several of them, but... And I will take said needle, and I'm going to open this up a little bit. And close it back down. All right. That should fix that. Now, these wheels. There's an extra one, so I take it one of them is going to go back here in the back. Almost certainly. We'll watch the video for that part. Let's pick up where we left off here. All right, we trimmed all this thing out, which is a lot more difficult than you made it seem like in the video. Of course, I did a lot smoother job than you did in the video. I don't want to mess it up. Yep. Trimming that out. You know, got to use X-Acto knife for that. Okay, he's done with that. Now what is he doing? He's removing the bumper. So this is a bumper up here. All right, so we're going to pause, and we're going to remove, although I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm going to use this. I'm going to hold this piece down so it doesn't go a-flying. Okay. And he sets it off to the side. All right, now what are you doing? It's cutting off the steering wheel. We already did that. Okay. And trimming up this. I've already trimmed that up. Okay, now what are you going to do? Now you're going to cut all the wheels off, okay? All right, let's clip the wheels off and hopefully they don't go flying. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See if I can manage to cut myself with this. These tires are actually cast really well. 1. 2. 3. 4. Counting with Tony. 5. All right. I hope it paints up really well because so far I'm pretty happy. Like I said, other than the dry brush, what that's going to turn into. Okay, now what are you going to do? Now you're gluing the front. You're gluing the front of this and this together. Okay. And then he's going to glue the chassis on the bottom of it. I'm interested to see how it lines up on the front. Okay. I'm actually going to do it backwards. I'm going to glue this first because that will allow me to know what height the front needs to be. I'm going to glue this back chassis first. You know, these are really sharp pliers, cutters. And he seems to have really, really sharp ones in that video. So I don't know what the hell kind of pliers he's using, but these Tamiya ones are awesome. And they're having trouble cutting some of this material. Like I said, this material that they use is really, really heavy duty. Really, really heavy duty. Okay. This is going to go like that, and it's going to go even with the front, which will put it in the center of the wheel well. That makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this. That's one solid piece. All right. Let's put a couple little dots in different places. And this is what I hate about super glue. I got to act fast. Okay. And I have a little bit here that did not need to be in that area. Okay. Now I'll glue the front. I I really don't like the way this behaves. I much prefer epoxy. I got some working time. I can adjust it. It's actually, I mean, other than the little bit of steps that it has, it goes together really well. The material is super solid. All right, what you gonna do next, dude? I'm gonna put the steering wheel in last. So I don't care where you do it. I'm putting that in last. All right, now he's attaching the wheels. Okay, cool. We can do that. Okay. See, next one, I don't know how to do it. I don't want to get ahead of myself and. Okay, these go on the other side. That's fine, but we want to make sure this is in correctly before we travel over to the other side. I called it. That's where the one on the rear goes. Okay, then what are you going to do? You're going to put the bumper on there. Detail goes towards the outside. Yep. Okay. Wow, it's actually sitting pretty level. I don't have any Jeeps. I got a couple Kubelwagens that are in really bad shape. I don't know if they're even usable. Okay. Beep beep. All right. What else are we doing then? Cute little thing. Nope, I'm not doing the steering wheel until last. Sorry. That's got the wrong. That's got the wrong. Maybe that's the one that's up. This is the one that's sitting down. Okay. Maybe I clicked on the wrong video. I just assumed that this one that had the legs was the one that was vertical. Maybe it's not. All right, well, let me go back to there. And come on. Videos, come on. I really wanted to get that 3/4 ton ambulance, but it looked like it had a whole lot of steps in it in the casting. Okay, that's the one that's sitting vertical. Is there not the other Jeep? All right, well then I'm going to go to their page. And we're going to go to US. Okay. Okay, and this one's the one with the window down. Okay, so this one's actually the one with the window down. Which would sit like that. However, if I sit it down with the window down, there's no way I'm going to be able to put a little star decal on the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to attach this until I have painted the front here, because if there's like the only place you can put a star on here is on the hood. And if I put a star on the hood but glue this down first, there's no way I'm going to be able to get a decal there. Okay, so I'm going to glue this steering column, the steering wheel and the steering column, and we're done. And I'm going to put this, that's going to go with it. We're going to prime them separately. And we're done with the Jeep. Okay? Whew. Man, that took a while. Let's take these extra pieces of flash off. And while the Jeep is fresh in our mind, we're going to do the other Jeep. And we shouldn't have to watch a video for this one. Shouldn't have to watch a video. Anybody still here? I bored everybody to tears. One person. All right. Knowing what we know now, we're going to snip this off here. We're going to snip this off here. We're going to snip this here. And we're going to snip this here. And God help me. Okay, and then let's do the same thing here. Okay, and then we're going to move to this side. Okay, we got both of them at once. All right, cool. Now, we'll put some cuts in there. I'm not worried about the one in the back so much, because if I break something there, it gets covered by the wheel. Not that we want to break anything. We certainly don't want to break the steering column because then I got to make one out of something. And that's just going to cause time. Let's pull these pieces out. This seems to be a better way to go about it. And it's only difficult because this material is so darn hard. Okay, well that actually worked pretty well. We can clean that up. And let's do the same thing with that. Can we pry this up? Yes. Okay, can we do the same thing here? Yep. Tell you what, I wouldn't want to build like 30 of these. Nobody needs 30 Jeeps. That's a bit much. You know, this is almost the same circumference as the opening in the wheel well. Let's bend it backwards. Come on. Okay. That's not bad. All right, now we should be able to clean this up by hand. I'll tell you what though, I think that if you're not good at putting things together, this may not be the right way for you to go. This is totally within my skill set. I'm patient. I don't have to get this done by a certain amount of time. I don't care how long this takes. And the material's really durable. But man, it takes a while. This takes a while. You know, if you're trying to be careful. I still want to get this stuff primer tonight. Okay, that's the one that stands up. This will need that cleaned off of it. Okay. And then this piece is good to go except for the steering wheel. So we're going to cut that off. Cut all these wheels off. Taking a break from cutting that. It's getting exhausted. No wonder I couldn't take the little steps off the castings of it. This is a really strong material. Okay, that's good to go. This has no flash on it, so that's good to go. These are extra pieces. That's cleaned up, so that's good to go. The bumper's good to go. All right, let's do these wheels. Yeah, these Jeeps are like $2 a piece or something like that. They're really inexpensive. I don't mind putting them together. Actually going together a lot better than I thought they were going to, considering I'm using super glue, which I don't have very much confidence in. I tell you what, this is a lot of entertainment for $2. Makes renting a movie seem really expensive. All right, now we're back. Now we've got to deal with this, but that's fine because everything else is done. Okay, and then we can move on to the last one, which is going to be building the M15. I'm ready. I'm ready to take on that challenge. And you better believe the M15 is going to have a nickname on it. There's not a whole lot of examples of them painted that I could find on the internet, but I have a feeling that's going to be one of my favorite vehicles. Especially because it's an anti-aircraft vehicle, and like basically Yabos aren't flying. You know, if you're shooting down aircraft, that means the Air Force didn't do their job. So ground support, pair of 50s and a 37 millimeter anti-aircraft. That's going to be nasty. That's going to be really nasty. Like, hey, they're holed up in that house. All right, open up on them. Oh, no house left. You know. And you do need to get the first shot in because it has very little armor. It has like 6.5 millimeters of armor on the half track. As far as half tracks go, the German half tracks had a lot more armor than the American ones did. Like a lot, like 3 times as much. I mean, not really saying anything, but you know. Scraping the plaque off this thing. Same thing. We're going to go ahead and attach this part first. Okay, then we'll attach the front. Three of you, welcome. Welcome to the insanity. It's not insane, it just takes a while. I'm concerned about I'm concerned about the steps showing up in the dry brush. That's the only worry I have at this point. Everything else is pretty good. Super glue seems to be gluing this thing together really well. I'm really surprised, considering this thing seems like it's slicker than snot. That's why I want to paint one of these and see if it's a concern. See if it's a concern. But it's durable as shit. Their material is really, really good. I just wish it didn't have that the pattern. Maybe it won't be so noticeable. Now this is the vertical one, so we can go ahead and install this one. And they make a third Willys Jeep that has that's totally enclosed. With, like, in case of rain or something like that. It's like a canvas top. That's good to go priming. I mean, looks really good. Durable as shit. I mean, obviously you can't, for what it is. It's not hollow at all. Okay, M15 time, folks. Let's find our video. Here it is. Let's clean all these extra parts. I don't know why it's taking so long to get started. Something's wrong with the internet. It was a storm a little while ago. Ooh, got some delicate pieces in here. Now, I'm probably going to make a field modification on this thing. And I'll tell you about that in a second. All right, he's trimming up the front of this little thing first, which shouldn't be much to it. All right, got little headlights to paint. Can't wait. Okay. All right. Track, so this is good to go. Let's make sure the track is good to go. All right. And the other track. Okay. And what was he messing around with? Ah, yes, the little armored slat here. No. This is a job for this. All right, that's good to go. Next. Okay, what did you just move over there? This little thing. Doesn't look like you did anything to it. Got the little footrest for it. You got to cut off the 37? Oh man, okay. Well, if anybody could do it, I can do it. Oh boy. Whew. Oh, there's even a divot in the end. That's nice. All right, how far are you going up with that? Okay. Woo! Thank goodness this thing's flexy. This material is so robust that these Tamiya clippers are really good, and they're struggling with this. They're struggling a lot more than they should be. in my opinion. Now, there's something underneath here. Is that part of the gun or not? He removed it, but I'm not so sure. And the only reason I'm saying that because it's got some nice little detail on it. I would hate to get rid of that if that's part of the gun. So let's take a look at a picture of an M15A1 MGMC machine gun motor carriage. Let's look at the front of what this looks like. Let's go visit this. Let's go visit, see if we got some better pictures of this thing. No, that's not it. That's not a better picture. It's kind of hard to tell. All right, we're not going to mess with that. There's the 50 calibers that are next to it as well. Let's go back to the video. All right, let's get this part here. So here's the part I'm probably going to change. I'm probably going to drill this out and put a little magnet on here because I'd really like for this thing to turn all the time. I don't want to glue it in place. Okay, so there's a little step here. So this gets cut like this. God, I'm so much more comfortable using the X-Acto knife. Man, this material is a beast. Okay, and then down here, we'll cut this off and we'll adjust it like so and like so. So we'll do the same on this side. All right. Yep, we trim that off. Now what? Set off the side. Right. Okay, now this cabby part. Okay, so he took these pieces off of it. This is the part that's like the bumper. And this is the part that's like another bumper. So he removed both of those. And let's clean this up, and then this thing will be good to go. This one I'm really curious to see what it looks like. It's kind of a cool looking vehicle. So you don't want to be on the receiving end of this thing. Everybody's familiar with the M16, which is a more commonly known vehicle, which has 450 caliber machine guns. This one has 250 caliber machine guns and 37. Okay, so he's trimming up those pieces. So this is good to go. He's trimming up this one, so we're going to go ahead and trim this thing up and then set it off to the side. It's like that little roller thing that's on the front of all the half tracks. Okay. We're getting there. The only reason I wouldn't buy more of these is because when I go to dry brush them, it's going to look pretty rough. So if I can get around that, I think or the rest of it is really good. They're really, really durable. What the hell are you trimming about? He's trimming that. I'm not going to trim that. I'm not going to trim the plastic around that. That's just asking for a shit show to happen. Maybe I will. Problem is, it's going to be really difficult. And this isn't big enough to go all the way across, is it? Oh, yes, it is. And normally I'd be worried about this thing snapping in half, but like I said, this material is really, really good. We are playing with fire. We are playing with fire here. If this material wasn't as durable as it was, this would have been catastrophic. Let's see if we can. If this material wasn't so durable, I wouldn't be able to pull this off. Of course, if it wasn't so durable, then does this thing face up or down? Let's see. Let's look at another half track. Let's look at one of my many US half tracks. It looks like it's going to face. Okay, it's going to face like. It's going to be like. It's going to face like this. This is going to be the top side. Okay, that's important to know because then I don't have to be so particular with the bottom side. Okay, I think we're good now. Just to show that little bit of an opening. I could have just painted it like there was an opening there. Okay, good, now it's done. Okay, now what are you cutting? This little piece here? Okay. Pause. Trim that little piece. All right. Next. Okay, he's trimming underneath this thing. This is like the recuperator. We don't need this thing unloosening itself in the middle of it. So this is the kind of stuff that you could end up cutting yourself with the X-Acto knife, because I'm putting a lot more force behind this than if I was doing something like Plastic Soldier Company or some other manufacturer that's uses something that's not so durable. Okay. That part's done. What else we got to do to this thing? He's cutting this here. Then what happens? Okay. This thing's pretty advanced. You got this. This requires some patience. Well, that's a pain to take all that off. Okay, here it goes. I don't know if I'll be able to prime tonight. That's okay. I'm going to cut that. So you want to leave this like a little platform. Just like a platform here. Wow, what a pain in the butt that is. All right, let's do this. We're going to come across like so. And we're going to come across this way. You definitely need a video for this. And I'm taking the guy's word for it. Hopefully he knows what he's doing. I'm not going to look up to make sure that he's cutting it correctly. Actually, I probably should. Let's see the finished example of this. Okay. So we're going to come across there. We're going to come across here. And then okay. Okay, and then we have those pattern things that help us across. Okay, so God, this stuff is really durable. we're going to have to clean that up, which should be okay. This guy seems like he's cleaning everything up with these clippers. All right, so we need to clean that up. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to come in here and okay, same thing on this side. This is going to be a cool vehicle. There's no doubt about it. Okay, and then we need to come across the bottom and clean that up. I don't have a good idea whether this has been dulled or not. So let's just assume that it has been. Okay, because this would be the time where I'd want to use a sharp one. So we're going to set that off to the side there. We're not going to quite pitch that one. I say this is a model for the advanced. This is it's like it was dulled a little bit. This is cutting a lot better. And this is why I like building things with, not having to get it done by a certain date. Oh, I got to get this done for a game on Saturday. Fuck that. We're going to build this and we'll be done when we're done, and we're not done until that's when we're done. There we go. Now, what else was I was struggling with something else. Was it this? No. Nope, wasn't that. There was something else that wasn't cleaning up really well. Nope. Oh well. That's golden. Okay. That's done. Okay, where do we go next? Whoa, 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 you're going too fast, dude. You're going too fast. I can't wait to see this thing put together. This is a cool vehicle. Yeah, we did that. I'm not going to fast forward it because my fingers are big and I'll end up overshooting the spot. I know I put everybody to sleep. Okay. You're going to grab this piece. Okay? All right, you're cutting here. Well, you don't need clippers for that. Now what? I mean, we'll clean that up, sure. And that one too? Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to clean this up as well. There's one. Okay, perfect. Okay, those two pieces, right? We set them off to the side. Waiting on you, pal. Uh-oh. So he cut off the front of this. Removed it from here, okay? Let's clean that up. I hope I'll be able to do this field modification. It would be super cool if I can. I don't know why I wouldn't be able to. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, you done with that? Cut the wheels out, okay. One of them must be a spit. Oh, there's nothing on this one. All right, let's cut this in half. One. Okay. Now we get to this thing. So we're going over to this part. I'm going to take this out. And the two seats are separate. These vehicles that have seats are real handy because you can tell how big the crew is on them. You can tell how somebody's supposed to be sitting in certain positions. Yeah. Let's trim up the two chairs. Getting to the bottom here, we're going to start gluing some shit together. Okay. Definitely need a video on this one. All right, we're done with that. Now what? This is probably the opposite of who's the Polish company? First to Fight. First to Fight stuff has lots of little fiddly bits, but man, their stuff breaks and you're up a creek. Or they're not that fiddly, but Pegasus. Pegasus has a lot of really brittle shit that if you're not careful. Okay. Okay, so all of this stuff is just extra flash. All right, now we're halfway through the video. Let's see what we got. Oh, hold on a second. All right, let's continue. Man, it got late. We got to finish this fucker now. All right. I got to use the little boy's room, which I haven't used the whole time, so be right back in just a moment. Okay. He's taking this, okay, and he's gluing it on this. Let's go back a little bit. So what I got to be careful is I might actually stop here, stop for the night, finish building it, because one of the things that I want to do is, and I know I'll be able to do this in some form or another. You've got this vehicle that goes somehow like this. This whole thing rotates some way. And I'm going to put a little magnet on here to get it to rotate. Just like the same way I did the RSO. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Let me show you the RSO. One of the ugliest, certainly the ugliest German vehicle. So this is a vehicle that came with a little peg on there. And you could glue it in place, or you couldn't really leave it to turn it because it was front heavy. So I added a rare earth magnet on one side and a rare earth magnet on the other. And there we have it. And now this thing rotates and it doesn't fall. So we're going to do the same thing with this turret. We're going to put one little magnet on one side and another little magnet on the other side. It won't have a Pack 40 on it. It's going to have the 37 with the two 50s. So I'm going to go and watch the rest of the build all the way through. We will come back tomorrow and finish building the M15. And we'll just see how it goes. We'll just see how it goes. I wish the material was a little softer so I could scrape these lines in certain places. There's certain places that are really big that I wouldn't want the line to appear. But honestly, they're really durable. I mean, I'll probably, unless they look horrible, I'm probably going to get more from them. It looks, I'm pleased at this point, but it looks a hell of a lot better than this piece of shit. And this was a pain in the butt to assemble. So, anyhow, so that's what my intent is to put a little magnet on there so we can do a 360 on it, because that's what it is. It's a 360 turret with and it might be one of those things that the whole thing has to rotate. It has to, otherwise it can't rotate within here. It's just not big enough. This opening has to be, I'm sure it's something like this. And something like that. And this whole thing's got to rotate somehow. So I'm going to watch the rest of the video, and that's my intent. I mean, what's the worst thing? The worst thing that happens, I can't actually do it that way, but I'd like to at least attempt to use the rare earth magnets. I got lots of them, and it'll look pretty cool. So, all right, folks. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for hanging out with me. This was a long one, wasn't it? Nah, just shy of 3 hours. So, all right, folks. We'll see you guys tomorrow.